Chapter 4, From Foreign Credentials to Ontario Gold, Navigating Licensing and Certification. Sections. Section 4.1, Do you need a license? A clear sector-by-sector guide. Section 4.2, Credential Assessment Explained, WES, ICAS, and Regulatory Bodies. Section 4.3, Bridging Programs and Fast-Track Upgrading Paths. Section 4.4, When your past career doesn't transfer, pivoting without starting over. You have already done something remarkable, you've unpacked a lifetime of skill and you've learned to read the Ontario job landscape like a seasoned navigator. Now we turn to the door that can feel heaviest of all, the door marked licensing and certification. Too many mature newcomers stand outside that door, staring at the lock, convinced the key was lost somewhere over the Atlantic. Here is the truth this chapter will prove to you: your credentials are not dead weight, they are unrefined gold. The task ahead is not to start over, but to refine, translate, and sometimes recast what you already own into a form Ontario instantly recognizes and rewards. This chapter will show you precisely how to determine if you need a license, demystify the strange world of credential assessment, uncover accelerated bridging paths, and, if your original profession simply won't transfer, teach you how to pivot without sacrificing a single ounce of your hard-won dignity. Section 4.1, Do you need a license? A clear sector-by-sector guide. Imagine you are about to bake a favorite family recipe in a new kitchen. The ingredients are the same, but the oven markings are in Fahrenheit instead of Celsius, and the measuring cups look different. You wouldn't throw away your recipe, you'd simply translate it. Licensing in Ontario works the same way. Some professions require a license because public safety depends on it. Others simply benefit from a formal evaluation that converts your Celsius into Ontario's Fahrenheit. A regulated profession is one where the law says you cannot practice, or even use a protected title, without a license from a specific regulatory body. Think of doctors, engineers, electricians, teachers, and nurses. A non-regulated occupation, like marketing manager, IT project lead, or customer service supervisor, does not demand a license, but employers may still ask for a credential assessment to understand your education level. Knowing which category your career falls into saves you months of confusion and wasted effort. Let's walk through the major sectors, one by one, so you can locate yourself quickly and confidently. Healthcare, physicians, nurses, pharmacists, dentists, physiotherapists, etc. All core health professions are strictly regulated. You must apply to the relevant college, such as the College of Nurses of Ontario, CNO, for nurses, or the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario, CPSO, for doctors, and complete an individualized assessment, which often includes exams, supervised practice, and sometimes additional courses. The process is rigorous, but hundreds of internationally educated health professionals succeed each year, many in their 50s and 60s when they arrive. Your life experience with patients is a hidden advantage during clinical interviews. Engineering, professional engineers, technicians. The title Professional Engineer, P.ENG, is protected by Professional Engineers Ontario, PEO. Even if you worked as an engineer for 30 years, you cannot call yourself an engineer in Ontario until you are licensed. The path includes an academic assessment, a technical exam program if gaps are found, and a period of supervised Canadian work experience. Many mature engineers deliberately choose roles like engineering specialist or project manager while they work toward the P.ENG, and employers often support this journey because they gain your wisdom immediately. Accounting, CPA, bookkeepers. Only the Chartered Professional Accountant, CPA, designation is legally protected, but a vast world of accounting-adjacent work, financial analyst, payroll manager, budget coordinator, operates fully outside the license requirement. You can earn a good living in finance while deciding whether the full CPA pathway makes strategic sense at your stage. The CPA Ontario body offers a helpful internationally trained accountant orientation that can be completed at any age. Law. Practicing as a lawyer or paralegal requires accreditation by the Law Society of Ontario. The National Committee on Accreditation, NCA, assesses your foreign legal education and assigns challenge exams or coursework. Some mature newcomers decide that the 2 to 3 year licensing journey is worth the investment, others pivot into corporate compliance, contract administration, or immigration consulting, careers that feed richly on legal training without requiring a full law license. Skilled trades, electricians, plumbers, mechanics, chefs. Many trades are regulated through the Ontario College of Trades, now transitioning to Skilled Trades Ontario. A certificate of qualification is often mandatory. The good news is that the trade assessment process heavily values hands-on experience, precisely what you hold in abundance. A prior learning assessment can fast-track you into a trade exam, and bridging programs specifically for skilled newcomers exist at colleges like George Brown and Conestoga. Teaching, primary, secondary, college. To teach in publicly funded K-12 schools, you must be certified by the Ontario College of Teachers, October. This involves credential evaluation, possible additional university courses, and language proficiency evidence. Some older newcomer teachers find the October process lengthy and instead find immediate joy teaching adults in private career colleges, corporate training departments, or community settlement organizations, places that care far more about your ability to captivate a room than about a provincial teaching certificate. Social work and social service work. Titles like social worker and registered social worker are protected by the Ontario College of Social Workers and Social Service Workers. If you hold a degree in social work from another country, you can apply for registration. Even without registration, a wide landscape of community service, case management, and settlement work welcomes your skills. You may not need a license to do the very work that makes your heart race with purpose. Figure, with light background and high contrast, create image in landscape orientation best describe and represents the flowing. Make sure it is accurate and there is no repetition. Extra detailed AI-ready prompt for AI-generated diagram showing a large, visually striking decision chart titled, Is Your Occupation Regulated in Ontario? The chart is split into 2 columns, left side regulated professions with representative icons, stethoscope, gears, scales of justice, chalkboard, hard hat, heart, and the names of regulatory bodies beneath each. Right side are non-regulated occupations with icons, computer, handshake, chart, light bulb. Color coding, green for regulated, warm gold for non-regulated. In the center, a line drawing of a mature, smiling professional holding a magnifying glass over the chart. Mini call-out boxes read check before you invest time and your experience is the foundation, not a footnote. When in doubt, visit the Ontario Government's Work in Your Profession webpage or the website of the relevant regulatory body. Bookmark these pages, they are your new professional compass. Section 4.2, Credential Assessment Explained, WES, ICAS, and Regulatory Bodies. A credential assessment can feel like asking a stranger to judge the house you spent a lifetime building. It helps to understand exactly what these organizations look for and why they even exist. At heart, they answer 2 questions: does your education genuinely match the Canadian standard for this occupation, and if not, what gap needs to be filled? They are not trying to diminish you, they are trying to protect the public and maintain professional standards you can absolutely meet. 2 main types of assessment exist in Ontario, and many newcomers confuse them painfully. Educational Credential Assessment, ECA, for immigration purposes, often done through World Education Services, WES, the International Credential Assessment Service of Canada, ICAS, or Comparative Education Service, CES, proves to Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, that your foreign degree, diploma, or certificate is genuine and equivalent to a Canadian one. This is step 1 for immigration but may have no value for licensing. A WES report saying your engineering degree equals a Canadian bachelor's degree is not a license to practice engineering. Professional Credential Assessment, licensing assessment, is a separate, deeper process conducted by the regulatory body itself, or a designated professional assessment agency. For example, an internationally trained nurse applies to the CNO, which evaluates the nursing program curriculum, clinical hours, and registration history, then determines what, if anything, must be supplemented. The regulatory body is the only one that can tell you definitively what you need to get licensed. Here is a straightforward path to follow. Identify if your occupation is regulated using the guide in section 4.1. Visit the regulatory body's website and find their internationally educated or foreign trained portal. Determine which documents they require, usually transcripts, syllabi, proof of registration, and a detailed employment history. Apply for an academic assessment if required. Some regulators accept WES or ICAS reports as part of the process, others insist on their own internal evaluation. Receive a gap analysis letter that lists exactly what you need to do, maybe 3 university courses, a jurisprudence exam, or a supervised practice term. Enter a bridging program or take the required courses, see section 4.3. Sit the licensing exams and, upon success, receive your Ontario license. Figure, with light background and high contrast, create image in landscape orientation best describe and represents the flowing, make sure it is accurate and there is no repetition. Extra detailed AI ready prompt for AI generated diagram showing a 7-step horizontal flowchart. Step 1. Check regulated status, magnifying glass icon. Step 2. Go to regulator's website, computer screen. Step 3. Prepare documents, folder. Step 4. Apply for academic assessment, WES ICAS or regulator, stamp. Step 5. Receive gap analysis, letter with checklist. Step 6. Enroll in bridging program if needed, stylized bridge graphic. Step 7. Pass exams, get license, certificate with golden seal. Each step connects with a glowing golden arrow. The title, Your Licensing Roadmap. One author's reflection: I once coached a 64-year-old pharmacist from Iran who felt utterly crushed by the seemingly endless assessment steps. Together, we broke the process into 90-day blocks. 9 months later, she completed her bridging courses and wrote her licensing exam, and she now works part-time in a community pharmacy, exactly as she had dreamed. The assessment was not a barrier, it was a bridge, but she needed to see it that way. Section 4.3, Bridging Programs and Fast-Track Upgrading Paths. Ontario has quietly built one of the most mature bridging ecosystems on the planet, precisely because our workforce needs your talent. A bridging program is a short, targeted educational experience designed to help internationally trained professionals fill the gaps identified in their gap analysis, without forcing them to repeat entire degrees. These programs are offered by public colleges, universities, and professional associations, often with significant government funding that makes them free or low cost. What makes a bridging program golden for the over 60 newcomer? 4 things: speed, recognition, workplace attachments, and peer community. Most programs run between 4 months and 1 year. They focus tightly on Canadian context, codes, regulations, professional communication, rather than reteaching fundamental skills you already possess. Many include a work placement that often morphs into a job offer. And crucially, you sit in a classroom, or virtual Zoom room, alongside people who share your dislocation and your ambition, some of whom become your first Canadian professional friends. High-impact examples include: Profession Example Bridging Program Provider Highlight. Prior Learning Assessment and Recognition, PLAR, can further compress your journey. Some colleges will grant academic credit for knowledge gained through decades of work, reducing the number of courses you need to take. Always ask the bridging program advisor, does your institution offer PLAR, and can we map my work history against the curriculum? That single question can shave months off your timeline. Figure, with light background and high contrast, create image in landscape orientation best describe and represents the flowing, make sure it is accurate and there is no repetition. Extra detailed AI ready prompt for AI generated diagram showing a map of Ontario with glowing pins at major cities, Toronto, Ottawa, Hamilton, London, Windsor, each pin connected to a ribbon that lists bridging program providers in that region, e.g., Toronto ribbon, George Brown, Humber, Axis, Care Centre, Ottawa, Algonquin College, London, Fanshawe. A central banner reads bridging programs across Ontario. Soft, warm color palette, inclusive imagery of diverse mature learners in classrooms and workshops. One crucial note, bridging programs often expect a certain English or French proficiency level. If you feel shaky, invest in occupation-specific language training first. Many settlement agencies offer free enhanced language training (ELT) courses that teach the very vocabulary you will use on a construction site, in a hospital ward, or at an accounting firm. Language is not a barrier, it is a tool you can sharpen alongside your license. Section 4.4 When your past career doesn't transfer, pivoting without starting over. Let's be honest, in that way only a trusted friend can be. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, the licensing road is simply too long, too expensive, or too misaligned with the life you want to live now. A retired judge may not wish to endure 3 years of Canadian law courses. A neurosurgeon may decide, with tears, perhaps, but also with relief, that they no longer want to hold a scalpel at 68. This moment is not a defeat. It is a pivot, and a pivot is simply a strategic change of direction that uses all your accumulated momentum. Your goal in pivoting is to find an adjacent occupation where your core intelligence and experience blaze brightly but where a full license is not legally required. This is not about settling for less, it is about repackaging your gold so it can circulate freely in the Ontario marketplace. Here is a simple adjacency mapping tool. Look at your former occupation, then ask 3 questions. What knowledge did I apply that industries here would pay for? What regulatory or compliance functions did I oversee that exist in every large organization? Whom did I teach, coach, or mentor, and could I do that formally in a corporate or college setting? The answers light a path. If you were a high potential Ontario pivot roles, no license required. Figure, with light background and high contrast, create image in landscape orientation best describe and represents the flowing, make sure it is accurate and there is no repetition. Extra detailed AI ready prompt for AI generated diagram showing a visual pivot compass. Center image, a compass rose with the words your lifetime expertise in the middle. Radiating in 4 cardinal directions, teach and train, manage and regulate, advise and consult, inspect and improve. Each direction has small linked bubbles with example job titles, e.g., manage and regulate bubble shows compliance officer, project manager, quality lead. A smiling older professional stands beside the compass, holding a suitcase labeled transferable skills that is opening to reveal light. Clean, modern infographic style, navy and gold tones. What does this pivot actually feel like in human terms? I recall a 67-year-old civil engineer from the Philippines who spent 35 years designing bridges. In Ontario, the path to AP.ENG would have taken 3 years and cost over $8,000. Instead, he completed a 6-month part-time program to become a certified building code inspector. Today, he walks construction sites, flips through blueprints, and commands respect with the quiet authority of a man who knows when something doesn't look right. His new designation cost a fraction of the time, and his income, while not executive level, covers a comfortable apartment near his daughter's family and leaves his weekends gloriously free. He did not downgrade his career, he targeted a role where his deep structural intuition becomes the prize, not the afterthought. To pivot successfully, invest a small amount of money in a short, market-recognized certificate, project management, PMP, even the CAPM, adult education, occupational health and safety, payroll compliance, or Salesforce administration. These certifications signal to Ontario employers that you speak the local dialect of your new field, while your decades of soft skills speak louder than any diploma. When the voice of doubt whispers that pivoting means you've failed, correct it firmly. Pivoting is the act of an intelligent, seasoned professional who refuses to let a bureaucratic thicket block a lifetime of contribution. Ontario gains far more from you working in a parallel role than from you waiting years on the sidelines. Figure mind map. Create a detailed, visually balanced mind map for Chapter 4, from foreign credentials to Ontario Gold, navigating licensing and certification. Central node, a golden key emblem with the chapter title. First major branch, license decision, sector guide, with sub-branches for regulated professions, health, engineering, law, trades, teaching, social work, and non-regulated occupations, each with quick icons. Second major branch, credential assessment, where's ICAS, regulators, splitting into immigration ECA and professional licensing assessment, and a miniflow of steps, documents, gap analysis, bridging. Third branch, bridging and fast-track programs, with subnodes college and university programs, work placements, PLAR credit, language training, ELT. Fourth branch, strategic pivoting, adjacent careers, with subnodes for adjacency mapping questions, high potential roles table, and short certificate options. Use a palette of navy blue, warm gold, and soft white, with clean organic lines. Include a small illustration of a mature professional standing at a fork in the road, one sign pointing license path, the other adjacent pivot, both lit warmly. Ensure clarity and immediate grasp of the entire licensing and pivoting journey.